I'm Andy Savage. Welcome to One Man and His Meeple. Today I'm playing Dune Imperium by Paul Denon, published by Direwolf Games. Dune Imperium draws from the vast lore of the Dune books by Frank Herbert and the new film by Legendary Pictures. In Dune Imperium, the player takes on the role of a pivotal leader of one of the great houses of the Landsraad. Use your cards and your leader ability to marshal resources, that is, water, solari and the valuable drug spice, to gain influence over the desert planet of Arrakis by gaining victory points, winning battles and acquiring more powerful cards. You gain victory points by dealing with the four powerful factions, that is, the Emperor, Spacing Guild, the Bene Gesserit and the Fremen, and by winning battles and buying and playing a few special cards. The end of the game is signalled when a player reaches 10 victory points or when the 10-card conflict deck is exhausted. On your turn, you either play an agent into an action space on the board and then play a card from your hand, or reveal the remaining cards in your hand to give you persuasion points with which you buy cards, or swords points to aid your troops in battle. In the solo game, you play against two other rivals who share a simple action deck. Although they will not add or remove cards from this deck, they will, like you, take spaces on the board, acquire resources, and add troops to the battle. Tonight, I will be playing as the Baron Harkonnen, and my opponents, chosen at random, will be Glossu the Beast Rabban and the Countess Ariana Thorvald. So, let's play. Okay, so just to talk you through the layout here, obviously we have the main board here, we have the four faction houses down the side, the Emperor, the Spacing Guild, Bene Gesserit and the Fremen with their action spaces. All the other action spaces, Landsraad, Chome, the planet itself and the desert spaces. The rivals today, we've got Countess Ariana Thorvald, who's going to be yellow, and Glossu the Beast Rabban, who's going to be red. They start off with 2 agents each, as do I. I'm playing on Novice, so they start off with 1 water each. I start off with a 1 water, a solari, which is like the currency, and 1 spice with the orange hex. I am Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, and I can pay 1 coin, 1 solari to take an intrigue card. Now I picked the Baron because I really like the intrigue cards. I really just like keep taking intrigue cards. When I pick the Baron, at the start of the game I have to choose 2 factions, secretly choose 2 factions, and when I deploy 4 or more troops in 1 action to the conflict in 1 turn, I can reveal my choices and gain 1 influence in each of those houses. Now, each of those factions I'm choosing, and it doesn't really need to be secret because no one else here cares. I'm choosing the Emperor and the Spacing Guild because those are the spaces I anticipate going to. So that will help me get up and collect extra victory points. So yep, this is the Imperium row where I will buy cards from. The cost in the top right hand corner is the persuasion cost. And this is my deck. It's a starting deck of 10 cards. And I will draw 5 for my turn. Now obviously I don't need to keep them secret, so I will deal them out here. I seem to be missing an agent somewhere. There it is. Okay, so Countess Ariana is going first, so we draw the first of the House Hagal cards. I'll turn those back over. Actually going to give them a quick shuffle because I'm not sure what state these are in. Now these ones aren't sleeved. It's a big thick deck for the Imperium deck. Some 67 odd cards. So I had them sleeved because otherwise they're pretty hard to shuffle every game. So let's see what the Countess Ariana Thorvald is going to do on her first turn. She's going to fold space. So she goes there. So when the rivals take a turn, they play one of their agents to the space, and they just carry out the action on the right hand side. They ignore any actions that are on the space itself to do this, which is to go up 1 influence with the Spacing Guild. She is the yellow cube, so she goes up there. The Beast, he is going to Carthag. So he's going to deploy one troop. First, he's going to take his agent and put it in Carthag, and he's going to deploy one troop into the battle. Because this is a battle space, he's allowed to deploy any troops he gets from this space straight into the battle, which he does. I haven't drawn the conflict card. What are we fighting for? Well, the first round we're fighting for 1 influence and 2 coins, or 3 coins. We'll ignore the third place because in a 3-player game only the first and second places get the prizes. I start off with a reserve of 3 troops, and the opponents don't have any to start with. Now, this conflict is not massively important for me to win, so I won't be going all out to win this one. Sometimes it's victory points, and as I said in the introduction, we're only playing to 10 victory points, and it's usual that 1 or 2 or all 3 of us will arrive around there at the same point. So you want to be ahead of 10 really by the time you get there. So I'm not going to go mad fighting for 1 influence here. So I shall probably let this go. So the two rivals have had a go. Now it's my go. So let's have a look around. What are we going to do? We have cards that will allow us to go and see any of these factions, which is good. Except this one gets trashed when it's played. Excuse the glare. I think I've eradicated most of it on the actual table. Like I said, I have to have these sleeved. So we can go to one of the desert locations and get spice. Now there's no bonus spice out. These bonus spice gets put out if no one visits this area, which is actually pretty rare in the 3-player game. I imagine in a 4-player game it would be very rare indeed that spice appears on these spaces. So I would like to get my 3rd agent, my swords master, and that's going to cost me 8 coins and a Landsrad card to get there. Now I start with 1 coin. So how do I get more coins? A very easy way to get more coins is to sell spice or melange. And how do I get that? By going to these deserts. Other ways of getting it slower is to take a secure contract from Chome, or to just gather wealth from the Emperor. If you conspire with the Emperor, you can get 5 coins, 2 troops, and an intrigue card, but you need 4 spice to do that. Now I rarely like to go to these spaces unless there's bonus spice there, but I might. Well, I can't go there because you need 2 water, so you can see how the requirement for resources goes round and round in this game. So what to do? Well, we could get another water by going to get still suits from the Fremen, and that will allow us to go to the Great Flat and get 3 spice, which would give us 4 in total, and then next turn we could go to conspire with the Emperor, get a bunch of money, some more cubes in our reserve, and an intrigue card. And we have got the Baron's signet ring, which will allow us to spend 1 coin to get another intrigue card, and I'd like to pick up as many of those intrigue cards as possible. They allow you to deploy surprise troops to the battle, or collect valuable resources, or so on. So I think for my first action, I'm going to send an agent to deal with the Fremen and pick up still suits. And we're going to use the diplomacy card to do that, so we don't have to trash. So we don't have to trash the Seek Allies card, which does mean it's a bit of a hole in our hand at start, because it doesn't have any reveal bonuses. There's no persuasion or swords at the bottom here. Now we could use this, because this is a battle space, we could commit up to 2 of our cubes to this battle. But as I've said, I'm not bothered about winning this first conflict, so I'm not going to do that. I want to save these cubes for future conflicts that are more valuable. But we go to water. Not a huge first go, but there you go. So what does Countess Ariana do? She's going to rally troops, which she does for nothing. She has to pay no money for that like we would have to. But as it's not a combat space, it doesn't have these crossed swords in the corner. She can't commit them to this battle, so they're just reserve. And then the beast is going to see the Bene Gesserit, and he is going to go up 1 space on there. I forgot to, we go up 1 on there. Now influence with the Fremen is good because it allows us to go to Siege Tabur, which can give us more water and troops and is a combat space. For our second action, let's have a look in the Imperium row here, what's available. This Smuggler's Thopter is quite nice. If we have 2 influence with the Spacing Guild, when we play it, we can draw 2 cards. And we can pick up 1 Persuasion and a Spice if we use it in the reveal phase. So that's quite a good card. We also have the Reverend Mother, CH Reverend Mother here, who counts as a Bene Gesserit and a Fremen. She allows us to trash a card when we play it. And she also has faction icons. You have to match these icons. The voice blocks spaces for the opponents, which when you play it. And shifting allegiances allows you to switch influence on one of these ranks for another, but it costs you 2 spice as well. So if we we've got 4 influence here, 4 persuasion, but then we can't really do anything with our second go. So I wouldn't normally go to the Hall of Oratory, but it allows us to take a cube and it gives us a persuasion in the reveal phase, and I'm going to use the signet ring to do that because that would give us the 1 persuasion, and I'm going to spend the money, the 1 credit, to activate the Baron's signet ability, which is Scheme, to buy one of these intrigue cards. So this first one, for 1 spice, we can take the Mentat from its designated space in the Landsraad. This is the Mentat here, has a space all of his own. When you play there and pay 2 Solari, you can take the Mentat and he counts as an agent for a future round, and you get to draw a card. But this allows us to go straight there for the cost of 1 spice. Where I'm going to put that. Can't see them there. Maybe just line them up down this side here. So onto the reveal phase. The rivals don't have a reveal, but we do, and we have 2, 3, 4 persuasion to spend, and I'm going to pick up the Smuggler's Thopter, which goes straight into our discard pile. And then these are cleared up. We have no swords, so we don't set strength, and we don't have any cubes in the battle, so we don't set strength. And the beast is in there on his own. Each cube is worth 2 strength in the battle. It says it right there, and swords on cards are worth 1. Now, in the battle, the rivals will add further swords by turning over 1 card each, and if they're in the battle, that is. So that will put his strength up to 6, He's all on his own anyway, so he gets 1 influence and 2 coins. He will go up on the track in which he is lowest, and if he's joint lowest on some of them, we get to pick. So I'm going to... Doesn't really matter at this point. I don't really want to... can't put him up on Bene Gesserit because it's not one of the lowest. So I think I'm going to put him up on the Spacing Guild track. Oh, we're going to replace that card in that row. Other memory, a Bene Gesserit card. There are quite a few Bene Gesserit cards in the Imperium row here, so maybe I should start collecting those. They some of them work with each other, although none of these actually do. So the cube in this battle is removed from back to the reserve. No one went to any of these desert spaces, so we can put out 1 bonus spice on each of these. The beast becomes the first player, and we get all of these agents back. The rivals get their 3rd agent after the 5th conflict card is revealed. That's why they're there on that conflict card. So there's 3 remaining in that pile, and when we reveal that 5th one, they get their 3rd agents. So this battle is for the Imperial Basin, which is a desert space, and it awards a victory point as well. For 2nd place, you can get 2 water. The rivals get victory points if they collect 3 water or 3 intrigue cards, 7 spice or 7 solari. Let's draw our new hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all the remaining cards. So we don't have any faction cards this round unless we draw more cards using one of these spaces. But we do have a couple of daggers here which will give us swords in a fight if we decided to get involved in this conflict. It's worth a victory point, and it's worth a flag in the Imperial Basin. So if we win and put that there, or whenever anyone visits the Imperial Basin, including yourself, you get an extra spice. So that's not bad to get, especially early in the game. Anyway, the beast is first, so let's see what he's going to do. He's going to conspire with the Emperor. So he goes up on the Emperor's track and gets 2 cubes. But it's not a battle space, so they just go into his reserve. Then it's my turn. So again, we've got 4 persuasion points. So there are some quite nice cards for 4 points in the Imperium row. There are always these cards, up for grabs as well. The Arrakis Liaison. Spice Must Flow costs 9 persuasion to buy it, but when you do buy it, you get a victory point, and you get a spice every time it comes out in the reveal phase. And the Fold Space card, which you can get by going here, and it has one of all the icons on, and when you play it, you trash it and draw another card. I should have said only 1 agent can ever go to one of these spaces. There are a few. I think there's some intrigue cards that allow you to visit a space that already has an agent on, but it's not common. I think I'm going to go to the Great Flat, pick up that 4 spice. And I'm going to use the Desert Planet card to do so. Now I should really not be putting these straight in my discard pile because there are ways to affect those cards once they've been played, but before they go to your discard pile. I'm not really sure where to put this. Over there, I'll probably forget about it. Let's put it there for now. So send our agent to the Great Flat and spend our 2 water to pick up 1 4 spice, so we now have 5. And we could add, because this is a conflict space, we could add 2 cubes into this fight, which is worth a victory point. We can add up to 2 cubes, so let's put 1 in just in case. We can at least maybe get 2 water out. What's the Countess going to do? She's going to fold space. So she goes up on the Spacing Guild. Back to the Beast. He's going to rally troops. They're getting a lot of troops in their reserves here. Back to me. Now, if we had another desert card, another yellow triangle icon, we could go to Chome and sell our spice for a lot of money. If we had 1 more spice, we could go to the Spacing Guild here, and that would be a great space. But we don't quite have enough. I think maybe we'll just have a reconnaissance mission in Carthage or Arakeen. That will allow us to recruit a troop in either one of those, and either take an intrigue card or draw another card. Drawing a card when I don't have a 3rd agent might seem a bit of a waste, but obviously you do then have cards for the reveal phase, which might give you enough to buy something nice there, or give you extra swords for the fight. I think I'm going to play the reconnaissance card. I'm going to reconnaissance in Carthage, which is going to give me a cube, which I could put into the battle, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to put it into my reserves and take another intrigue card. This one's an ambush card, and it allows us to commit 4 swords to the fight after we know what everyone else is doing. We'll put that reconnaissance card there. I could have added another cube to the battle at that point, the one that we got from Carthage, and indeed 2 extras. But because the Beast hasn't committed and Ariana is the only person left to play now, and now we have this ambush card as well. No, let's keep our 4 in reserve and see what Ariana's going to do. She's going to harvest spice. Now the harvest spice card is generic. It doesn't say which space to go to specifically, but it does say that they will go to the space with the most bonus spice, and if that's a draw, they'll go to the one with the most base. So she will go to Haga Basin and get 3 spice. But she will also commit 2 troops to this battle, which is a bit of a pain. So, reveal phase, we have 2 persuasion points, with which we can buy any of these cards or the Arrakis liaison card. But we can't buy any of them, obviously. I think I'm going to buy the voice, this Bene Gesserit card. And that was with those 2 persuasion points, and we've got 2 swords here, so our score would be 2 plus 2 for the cube gives us 4. Ariana has 4 as well, because she has 2 cubes, and then she draws one of these cards and adds 2 more swords to the fight. So we could win this if we play our ambush card And I think this card is probably worth 1 victory point and a banner in the Imperial Basin. Although it will give her a victory point anyway, because she will collect 3 water as a result of getting second prize in this fight, which is worth a victory point to her. Would the 2 water be more use to us than a victory point and a banner at this point? I say let's play the ambush card and put our 4 swords into the fight, and we will win this. We will take the victory point and put our banner into the Imperial Basin. Purely on the assumption that there's going to be 2 spice there next turn, and someone's going to go there and harvest spice, which will give us 1 more. So Countess Ariana gets 2 water, which gives her 3 in total, so she gets a victory point for having 3 water. And all these troops are removed. So put bonus spice into the Imperial Basin. So there's 3 there now. And return all of these other agents. There he is. And this turn we are first player. So maybe we want to go to the Imperial Basin and pick up 4 more spice, which gives us more than enough then. That gives us 9. So we can go to the Spacing Guild and get a whole bunch of cubes and extra water. So what 5 cards have we got? Reconnaissance, the Voice, Diplomacy, a Dagger, and Dune the Desert Planet back. So we do have a card that will allow us to go to the Spacing Guild, and we do have a card that will allow us to pick up this spice as well. So I think, yeah, let's go there. Let's go to, oh, let's see what the conflict card is. I always forget this. Right, the conflict card, Terrible Purpose, awards 1 victory point and the ability and trash a card. Obviously, thinning your deck in a deck builder is can be beneficial. You can get rid of some of the worse, lesser cards in your hand. So we're going to the Imperial Basin. So we pick up 2, 3, 4 spice, which gives us 9 in total, which is a good lot. We could use 1 of them to take the Mentat instead of paying for his space as well. In fact, I might do that now. No, they never pick the Mentat, so that's not a problem. Now, even though there are no troop cubes here, we can, because it's a combat space, I can commit 2 of my troops to the battle. But I'm hoping to get this highliner space anyway, which means we can put all 5 or up to all 5 in. So I don't think we'll need more than 5 at this point, he says. Anyway. We used Dune the Desert Planet card for that action. Just put that there, sideways. Okay, Countess Ariana, what's she going to do? She's going to Arakeen, which means she commits. She takes and commits 1 troop and has a signet ability, which is to gain another water. Glossu is going to Arakeen. He can't go to Arakeen because Ariana's blocked it. So he's going to the Fremen to get some still suits. So he goes up 1 space on the Fremen. So now if I get the Mentat this round using our calculated hire, what 3rd action am I actually going to do? I'm not convinced there's a really great 3rd action right now anyway. let's do this and see what see how it looks. So I'm going to send an agent to the Spacing Guild, so I go up 1 on there, and I pay them 6 spice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and for that I get 5 troops and 2 water. With my 5 troops, I can put all of them into the fight. I can put up to 5 of them and 2 more from my reserve into this fight. The Baron, when he went to Still Suits, he would have put 2 of his reserve in. Forgot that. When she went to Arakeen, she'd have put 2 of hers in as well. So it's already looking like quite a big fight here for 1 victory point. I'm asking myself if I want to get involved that much for 1 victory point. All the conflict 3 cards are usually worth 2 victory points each. So I'm not inclined to. I think I'd like to just keep these in reserve now. How many? We got 3 left in there. I don't think this fight's already too big to get involved in, especially as they've still got a turn in hand each. Do we want to pick up the Mentat for a 3rd turn this round? Well, if we did, we could use our voice card to sell our remaining spice for 8 coins, and then next round our first action could be to buy the Swordsmaster. But no, we'll only have, if we use this, we'll only have 2 spice, 2 melange, so we'll only get 6 coins. Tricky. We could use the Mentat and the 2 water to get 3 more spice from there, which would give us enough to conspire next turn, which gives us 5 coins. Still not enough for our Swordmaster, but we could sell some of it, certainly, to get enough money to buy our Swordmaster. But I don't want to buy this Mentat and then one of those goes to the Great Flat, which is entirely possible. So let's wait until the start of our next turn and see what happens. So Countess is going to the Hall of Oratory, and she gets a cube into her reserve. And the Beast is going to Carthag, and he gets a cube which he commits to the fight and adds 2 more. So at this point I think I am going to spend 1 spice and that intrigue card to buy the Mentat, and then use the Mentat with our voice card, whose special ability, triggered ability, is now useless. Choose any board space opponents can't send their next agents there this round. Well, this round is effectively over anyway, so I'm going against all conventional wisdom here, which says the Great Flat is too expensive on water to pick up spice, and also don't go to these spaces unless there's bonus spice. But I really want to pick up my Swordmaster pretty soon. Next go. Okay, so they've finished. Back to me. Reveal. I've got 1 influence point, 1 persuasion point, and 1 sword. The sword, I'm not in this fight. I could buy the assassination mission. Now that has no icons, but when it is trashed, we get 4 coins for it. And as a reveal card, it's worth 1 coin and a dagger. I think it's a bit weak. I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to buy anything this go for the risk of watering down my deck too much. So into the battle then. Countess has 6 strength, the beast has 10, and Countess reveals first. She adds nothing, and the beast adds 4, taking him up to 14. So he roundly wins that. So he gets the victory point. He doesn't trash a card because he hasn't got any. And she gets a water and a spice. Not quite at the point where she can trade that in for more victory points, but close. Now that's not bad because they've spent a huge amount of their reserves winning that battle, or not winning that battle in the Countess's example. Alright, so we put spice out into the Haggard Basin because no one went there. The Mentat goes back to his space, and all these agents go back to their cards. There he is. The next conflict card is the Siege of Arakeen. Another victory point and another banner in Arakeen this time, which will give us 1 Solari each time someone goes there. Our hand this turn. Another dagger, convincing argument, which is only worth persuasion in the reveal phase. Another Dune card. The signet ring again, so we can replenish our intrigue cards, and the Smuggler's Thopter that we picked up. Now if we had 2 influence with the Spacing Guild, we could draw 2 cards when we used that. And we don't have 2 influence with the Spacing Guild, and because we have no faction cards here, we're not going to get it this turn. Anyway, Countesses go first. She's going to highline up. So she's putting 3 troops. And she goes up to there, which earns her a victory point. And she's putting 3 troops into the battle from the card and then 1 from her reserve. The beast is going to Carthag, so they're already into this fight. He adds 1 troop from Carthag and 2 from his reserve. So there's another expensive fight for a single victory point that I think I might try and skip. Instead, I'm going to sell my spice to Chome so that I can afford my Swordmaster. I'd quite like to keep the Smuggler's Thopter, as I don't really want to spend it because I'll miss out on this bonus. If I keep it for the reveal, I get a spice as well as a persuasion point. We can use the signet ring to visit Chome, or we can use the Dune card. If we use the signet ring, this is a good example of how you can resolve these effects in the order you want to. So we're using the signet ring to send an agent to Chome to sell Melange. Now, how much do we want to sell? Well, we need 8 for the Swordmaster. And if we keep 1, we can use it to activate the signet ring power. So we're going to need at least 9. So should we keep 1 spice? Should we sell 4 or all 5 of them? I think it feels right to keep hold of 1. So let's just sell 4 for 10 coins, and then we're going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4. So 10 coins, and I'm immediately going to spend 1 on the Baron's Signet Ring power, his scheme. Now this is kind of fortunate. It's Dispatch an Envoy. It's a plot card, so we can play it during our turn, and the card we play this turn has a faction icon. It's adding a faction icon to any card we play this turn. Or in the turn we play the plot card. So we could use the Smuggler's Thopter's special ability to get a fold space card. We also wanted to get the Swordmaster, so I mustn't forget we actually want to do that. We're going to have to use the dagger to go to the Landsraad Council. At least we know neither of the rivals are going to go to that space, because they don't go there. So, Countess, she's taking wealth from the Emperor. So she just goes up there 1 point. And the Beast, he's going for selective breeding with the Bene Gesserit, which he goes up there and gets another victory point. So we have 1 agent left. So we must go here. We'll spend the dagger to do that and 8 coins, 8 Solari. And we'll get our Swordmaster. So from now on we'll have 3 agents, but they're going to get their 3rd one in the next round anyway. Okay, so the Countess and the Beast have used all theirs. We still have our new 3rd agent, so we could use the Smuggler's Thopter to pick up a fold space card, go up a point on the Spacing Guild, getting a victory point, and activating this, allowing us to draw 2 cards. What would be the point of drawing more cards now? Well, it will give us persuasion points with which to buy these, theoretically. So we might as well use this ability as we've got it. So I'm going to use our plot card to add a Spacing Guild icon. Well, it has all the icons, so it doesn't matter. And we're going to fold space. And I'm going to use the Smuggler's Thopter to go there. So that gives us that, which is another victory point. And now we have 2 influence at the Spacing Guild. We get to draw 2 more cards. And we get the fold space card. So now into our reveal phase. We're not in the fight, so swords here wouldn't matter. We've got 5 influence, 5 persuasion to spend. And I think I like the look of it's either other memory, which allows us to draw cards when we play it, or the CH Reverend Mother, which allows us to start burning some of our less useful cards like Convincing Argument, of which I have 2 here, and has icons on as well. Has faction icons, so I don't know. I like although if we have Fremen Bond, that means we need more Fremen in the deck in order to trigger that on reveal. So I draw a Bene Gesserit card. Have we picked up? I don't think we've even picked up any other Bene Gesserit cards. In fact, we can see all our cards at the moment. Oh, we've got that Bene Gesserit card. And drawing cards is always useful. Let's take that one. So, onto the battle between these two. The Countess has 8 points, 8 strength. The Beast has 6, and the Countess is revealing first. She's adding 2 swords to the fight, and the Beast is adding 1. So she takes the victory point and puts her flag into, where are we? Arakeen. So she will get a coin every time someone goes to Arakeen, and the Beast gets 4 coins. So he's 1 coin off a victory, 1 Solari off a victory point. Another fight we sat out of, but we have mighty reserve here now. No one went to any of the desert locations to collect spice, so they all get bonus spice. And this round they are all going to have 3 agents, so we didn't get a massive advantage. A bit slow to get our 3rd agent out there, our Swords Master. We're revealing the 5th card, so they get their agents. The price for this one is the Mentat and an intrigue card and 2 coins. It's okay, but I'd only take it if it's going to be an easy battle. I wouldn't commit a huge amount of troops to this fight. I don't feel like that. Okay, let's see what our hand is. The Baron is first player, and we must fill this space. Reverend Mother Mahim. So she comes from the Emperor, and she has Bene Gesserit powers. She's a Bene Gesserit card. If you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, each opponent discards 2 cards, which would obviously be amazing in multiplayer, but in solo, not so good. Though she does have a fairly good surrender reveal bonus, and also she has faction icons. So I was kind of hoping we'd get our signet ring so we could pick up another intrigue card, but we haven't. Let's turn those conflict cards the right way now. And the Beast is first up, and he is harvesting spice. And he will go to Hagar Basin and pick up 4. 2 for that, and 2 with the bonus. Now it's our turn. Spaces we don't really need. We don't want to rally troops, and we don't want to highliner, even if we had the spice for that, or the resources, the money. Let's go to the Fremen, get some steel suits using our diplomacy card. That will get us a water. It will get us another victory point because of our influence with the Fremen, and it will get us the ability to go to Siege Tabor. If we need to. So it is our turn, isn't it? Yeah, just slow. Right. So we play our agent there, and we'll use our diplomacy card. So we'll go up there, we'll get our victory point. Just keeping up with the rivals here. Our water for that. And Countess's go. She is going to harvest spice, so she will go to the Great Flat and take 4, which will give her 8. So if we just take 7 away and give her a victory point instead. Back to the beast for his second turn. He's going to the Bene Gesserit for selective breeding, so he's up there now. Now I think in my third turn, if no one has committed to the battle, I might try and get 1 cube in. So what are we going to do in the meantime? I might secure a contract just to get us some money, so that we have enough for Mentat or rally troops in a future round. Or we could go to the Imperial Basin with our Dune card and get 1, 2, 3 spice for 1 action, which isn't bad. That will give us enough for a conspire action if we had the faction icon, but we don't. But I think let's do that. Seeing as we have this flag here, so now we've got 4 spice, which isn't bad. Back to the Countess. She is going to visit the hardy warriors of the Fremen, which gets her an influence there and 2 cubes, which she puts straight into the fight. She has no reserves, so she doesn't add any more. So we finished that deck, and it's the Baron's turn, so we must shuffle. See what the Baron's going to do with his last agent. He's not picking more spice, that's for sure. Obviously everything's back in the pack now. He's taken selective breeding, so he can't go there again. So he's going to the other Bene Gesserit space, secrets. Now he is now into this top tier, so he takes this token, for which he gets 1 victory point, and he gets an intrigue card. He doesn't do anything with his intrigue cards, he just cashes them in. When he gets 3, cashes them in for a victory point. This token, however, these influence tokens, 1 for each faction. If you're the first person there, you take the influence token and get the victory point. When someone else gets there, gets ahead of you on that track, they take the token from you and you lose the victory point, and the other person gains the victory point. So, although he's looking pretty safe here for the moment. Back to us. We could go to that conspire. We can't go to the conspire space because we don't have a faction icon. And we can't afford to go to the Mentat, which would give us a draw and another turn. So I might just go to Carthage and get another intrigue card. So let's use our reconnaissance card to go to Carthage. So we'll get a cube into the fight, because it's going to be worth probably some money and another intrigue card. So we get the cube, get the intrigue card. A private army, we can spend 2 spice for 5 swords in the battle phase, in the combat phase. We could put more cubes into this fight, but I'm not that bothered. Because the Countess has got another go where she might put more cubes in, and she gets a draw as well for swords. So I'm not gonna commit any more cubes at this point, saving them for the final conflicts. Okay, so what's Countess doing with her last round? She can't do selective breeding. She can't harvest spice. She's going to Arakeen. So she's going to put in cube, combat cube. She gets 1 coin, because one Solari, because she has the banner there. and she activates her signet power, which is Hidden Reservoir. So she gets the third water, which she cashes in for another victory point. A little bit worrying that she's getting ahead there on the victory points. But I'm glad I didn't put another cube in anyway. So reveal. I've got two points for which I can spend on cards. I can either get an Arrakis liaison card, or I can afford the assassination mission, or the spice smugglers. Now, what do? You can spend 2 spice to go up on the spacing guild track and get 3 money. They're all right, actually. They also give 1 persuasion and a sword in the reveal phase, so I'm going to take that. There's the Missionaria Protectiva. This is a misprint, should have the Bene Gesserit banner on here. And if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, you can go up on any influence track. Now, I really have liked that one, but we don't have it at all. But it's still going to be there next go anyway. So strength wise, I've got 2 for my cube, plus 1 for my dagger. And Ariana has 6. And then she adds further 2, taking her up to 8. Now I could spend 2 of my spice to add 5 swords, which would also take me up to 8, and then we would both get 2nd place. Whereas I'm going to get 2nd place anyway, and it's only going to give her the mentat. I just don't think that's worth it. So we'll let her have that. So she's going to get an extra turn next round, and she gets an intrigue card, and we get an intrigue card. So Chome shares, we can spend 7 coins for a victory point, which might come in handy. We've got a lot of spice that we can sell for money. Or we can go up here and get quite a lot. Anyway. All the desert spaces were visited, so no bonus spice comes out. We are first player this round. Ariana's agents return with the mentat for the next turn. I assume the mentat isn't returned because that would just be daft and a bit pointless. So, Siege of Carthag, the last of the 2 value conflict cards, worth another victory point, and a flag in Carthag, which is worth another Solari whenever anyone visits it. Our hand: the signet ring, the voice, a convincing argument, Dune, the desert planet, and seek allies. Right, so we are first players. Now we need to get a bit higher on some of these influence tracks. So I'm going to visit the Emperor, and I'm going to conspire with the Emperor using the Seek Allies card, which is kind of thematic. So this is trashed, removed from the game. We got 1 influence on there, and we spend our 4 spice. And for that we get 5 coins, 2 cubes into our reserve, and another intrigue card. If you have a seat on the High Council, gain 2 spice. Now I was thinking about actually going for a seat on the High Council. That's where we play an agent up there, and then we put our councillor disc on there, and we always have a base of 2 persuasion in the reveal phase. It costs 5 to do it, but we'll get 2 spice back, so that might not be a bad idea. We didn't put an agent up there. Now the main problem with having all of our cubes, there's 1 left in there. If we haven't got 2 cubes here, then we can't commit 4 at once to the fight. So we can't do this Baron's Masterstroke. But I'm pretty sure we will be doing that by the end of the game anyway. What's the Countess doing? She's harvesting spice. So let's get the Mentat out of the way. She's going to go there, grab 3 spice. And the Beast is going for still suits. So he gets a victory point there. Back to us. We could go to the High Council. 2, 4, 6, 8. That will give us, if we then revealed immediately, we would have 8 influence. Nearly enough to pick up the Spice Must Flow. But easy enough to get the Missionaria Protectiva. And maybe the Reverend Mother Mahayam. Although her power is pretty useless, just the reveal power is good. Alternatively, we can just get some troops into this fight. Although we no longer have the a faction icon. Let's use the signet ring to go to Carthage. So we'll spend 1 for our power and pick up an intrigue card. And put our agent there. We'll get 1 cube, and I think we're going to put 2 into this time. And we'll get another intrigue card for that. And this is favoured subject, so we can go up 1 on the Emperor track, which is pretty good, because that's another victory point. Might as well do that now, because there's no element of surprise, so might be good in a multiplayer game to save that one. Countess. She's conspiring. She can't conspire because we did that. So she's going to rally troops. It's not really what we wanted. I'd like them to have kept their troop numbers low for this point. At this point, going into the conflict 3 rounds. The Beast, hardy warriors. She's taking all the Fremen spaces this round. He gets 2 troops, which he commits to the fight, and nothing from his reserves. Back to us for our last round. It's a bit weak, but I think I'm going to the Imperial Basin with that to pick up 2 spice. And we could put more cubes into the fight at this point, but I think I'm going to stay with 3. Maybe 1 more. Maybe 1 more from the reserves. Okay, and back to the Countess. She's already rallied troops. Carthage, she can't go. Harvest spice. Again, she's going to there. Picks up 2 more spice. Which puts her on 6. And she's committing 2 troops to the fight as well. The Beast cannot go to Carthage. He's going to Arakeen instead, which gives Countess a coin, and he gets a troop. And he gets another one into his reserve. And he has a faction alliance, so he gets 2 faction alliances. These, which I believe he can put straight into the fight. So we're talking about his signet ring ability, brutality. He can add another cube to the reserves, or 2 if he has a faction alliance, which is there. Not good for us. Might have to use our private army to win this one, although I might probably save that for 2 victory points conflict. Back to the Countess, and she's going to the Hall of Oratory for 1 more cube into her reserve, but not into the fight. She went there first, put 2 in. No, she didn't have any at that point. Then she rallied troops. Then she went to yes, so that's good. Okay. Right, reveal phase. I can play this, so I have 2 extra. I think I'm going to. No, because I want this one more than I want Reverend Mother. I want the Missionaria Protectiva. Although she does have the faction icons as well. Oh. I think, yeah, I'm going to spend that intrigue card and I'm going to take the Reverend Mother Mahayam. We have no swords on revealed cards, so our strength is 8. Countess is on 4 and the Baron is on 10. Countess reveals first and adds 1, and the Baron adds 1. So for 2 spice we could take this fight and get the victory point. If we just settle for 2nd place, I get another intrigue card and a spice, which I think is better. So I'm going to let him have the victory point and the flag in Carthage. And I'm going to settle for an intrigue card and 1 spice. It's not a bad second prize. This is a combat card that allows us to add 3 swords or retreat up to 3 of our troops. Now sometimes a tactical retreat is good if you want to settle for 2nd place, or you have so many troops in that you've stormed the fight, you can retreat and still win. Not bad. Right. So no bonus spice into the desert spaces. She no longer has the mentat. And five more cards. 1, 2. So we got our Smuggler's Thopter out. 4. Shuffle these and draw a 5th. So we got our fold space card as well. So some of our interesting cards that we've bought are coming back round now. Although the fold space card will get trashed. Diplomacy there again. Who is first? Not us, it's the Countess. And she is buying still suits from the Fremen. She gets a victory point for that. That's all she does there. The Beast, going to the Hall of Oratory and getting 1 cube into resource. All these are thrown away. Okay, what are we going to do here? Just remember, when we play this, we get to draw or draw a Bene Gesserit card from our discard pile. Unfortunately, we don't have a discard file, let alone any Bene Gesserit cards in it. But if we use our fold space card, we can get to draw. What should we do with it? We can't go to the Highliner space, and we can't conspire, which would be the best spaces. Seems a bit silly just to pick up another fold space card. Now, I wouldn't mind going to selective breeding, but I don't really want to discard. I don't want to remove any of these cards from the game, except Dagger's not great at this point. we have better cards with Lance Rad icons, and we have better cards with battles on. If we use the Smuggler's Thopter, we can draw 2 more cards though, which might give us a Bene Gesserit card. So we could certainly use it to sell some melange at Chome. Not much point going to pick up any spice at this point. But we've got 5 coins. I'm not sure we need a lot more. We could get a seat on the High Council, but we can't use the Thopter for that. We'd need to use the dagger for that. It might be not a bad time to try and get close to 9 persuasion. Pick up a Spice Must Flow card. First, let's see what the conflict is, because we didn't reveal that. So there are only 4 rounds left. We're into the first of the conflict 3 cards, and as I said, it's worth 2 victory points and a flag in Carthag. Second prize is worth an intrigue and 3 spice. So 3 spice is worth a victory point to either of the rivals. Now what's going on here? What did he do? He went, I picked up the wrong cube. That's why. Right. Let's take a seat on the High Council. So we have 2 persuasion to spend in every reveal phase now. Oh, we've got to spend that 5 coins as well. Right. Back to Countess, and she's going to Arakeen, which earns her a coin for starters. Water for her signet ability, and a cube, which she puts into the fight along with 2 more. The beast, I'm just having a thought what I want to do. He's going to conspire with the Emperor. He goes up there, gets another victory point and 2 cubes, which go into his reserve, but not the fight. Now I've decided I want to use my fold space card for Hardy Warrior space. So I'll pay the water, and I get to draw a card and trash this, which goes back there. We've picked up the Spice Smugglers. So we get 2 cubes, which I'm going to put into the fight, and then add 2 more from our reserve. So we've committed 4 troops in one turn. So I can now reveal those and go up 1 on there and 1 on there. Not quite the 2 victory, not quite the... it would have been nice if we sort of mopped up this and this, but we're closer now. And did I go up there? I don't think I did. 1, 2, 3, 4 for a victory. Okay, let's see what Countess is doing. She's going to Carthag. So that's another cube for her and her last reserve. She now has 5 cubes or 10 strength in the fight. And the beast gets a coin for that. And then he is going to Highliner space. So he goes up there, he gets a victory point. Looking desperate now. And 3 cubes, which he puts into the fight, and 2 more. I'm eyeing up my combat cards here. while I think, I'm going to cash in the Councillor's Dispensation. Because I have a seat on the High Council, I can have 2 more spice. So I'll take a 5. How much persuasion have I got? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 at the moment. I don't want this card. Space travel. Really quite keen on Missionaria Protectiva now. I'm also keen on winning this battle to stay in the game, really. If the beast gets 2 points, he's on 9. And if he gets second place, he's on 8. So I think I'm going to use the Spice Smugglers to go to Siege Tabir, which gets me a cube, and I can add 2 more. I'm going to add 1 more. At this point, it also gets me a water. And I can also spend 2 spice to go up on the Highliner track and get 3 coins, which I am going to do. Now, ordinarily I think that's quite expensive, but it gets me 3 more coins and the Alliance for another victory point. So victory point and 3 coins. No, it's not removed from the game, it's just my discard pile. So, that is that. Reveal phase. 2, 3, 4 and another spice. 5, 6 to spend. I'm definitely going to take that and refill the space. Dr. Yui. I think I'm just going to take the CH Reverend Mother. Maybe I can start using her to thin the deck. I've got 1 more. So I could afford that scout, but I don't think I'm going to at the moment. No swords there. So my strength is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. The beast is on 10 and so is Ariana. So she is first player, so she's committing 3 more, taking her up to 13. The beast is committing 2 more, taking him up to 12. And I think I'm going to spend my Master Tactician card to take me up to 15. So I get the 2 victory points and I get to replace the flag in Carthage with my own. So quite expensive in terms of troops and spice and intrigue cards, but puts me back in the running in terms of victory points, and that's what's important. So I could get another victory point here from my Chome shares. If I can go up 1 more for the Emperor, I can get another victory point. And also there's another victory point there. So that would be 7, 8, 9. And probably a couple from this conflict. Could finish at this go before they get a chance to get above 10. Who came second? Ariana came second, so she gets a second intrigue card and 3 spice, which puts her on 9. So if we just leave her 2 and give her another victory point, so it's level pegging for all of us now. No one visited any deserts, so every space gets a bonus spice. The next conflict card. Now, no victory points here, which is kind of annoying because I was hoping maybe we could finish it. But it is kind of worth one victory point because I could go up 2 on the Bene Gesserit track as well. So that could be 1, 2, 3, 4 points I need. Let's see our hand this time. Right, the beast is first player. Okay, so we have the Reverend Mother Mahayam come out and the voice. So if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, each opponent discards 2 cards. So that's pointless because it doesn't do anything to them. But she does have one of the faction icons we like, so we can go up. We've got enough to conspire there as well with a 4 spice. Anyway, we're not first. The beast is first, so let's see what he does. The beast conspires. Must have heard me. So 2 cubes into his reserve. Amazing. So what are our options here? We can go to, we can just pick up wealth and get the victory point and 2 cubes and 2 Solari. Or we can use her to come here and destroy one of our less interesting cards like Convincing Argument and draw 2 more. That will cost us 2 spice. Just trying to think what happens if the beast wins this card. He will go up. At the moment, he will go up 2 on the Spacing Guild, which isn't the end of the world. If he comes second, he will get a victory point for spice. If Countess comes second, she won't get a victory point for that. She will get a victory point for 3 intrigue cards. And if she comes first, she will just go up on the Bene Gesserit track and get a victory point. So it's not game ending for either of them. Let's use the Reverend Mother, Mahayam, for some selective breeding. That sounds wrong. We pay 2 spice, so she goes to the discard pile. We go up 1 on the Bene Gesserit track. We'll get rid of Convincing Argument. We'll remove that from the game and then draw 2 new cards. How exciting. Dune, and well, at least we get our Signet Ring, so we can hopefully get another intrigue card. And it puts us 1 point closer to a victory point there. Okay, so Countess's go. She cannot go to selective breeding because I'm already there. So she will take wealth from the Emperor. Puts her up to there, gets her a victory point. And then the Baron, he is going to harvest spice. He will go to the Great Flat. He will take 4 spice for that. which gives him 8, and then he'll trade in 7 for a victory point. So if we just leave him 1, they give him a victory point. So he will also put 2 cubes into this battle. This is not a battle I'm very inclined to go hard out to win. I think I might try and get a cube in for second place. Now, how shall I do that? I could use the signet ring. So we can go to Carthag or Imperial Basin. If we go to Carthag, we will get a cube from the reserve and that we can put into the fight, and an intrigue card. If we go to the Imperial Base, I will also get 1 coin, which I can then use to buy another intrigue card. So that will be 2 intrigue cards. If we go to Imperial Basin, we will get 3 spice. I wish it was 4 spice, because then we could take Highliner for a ton of cubes in reserve. There's no way we're going to get 4 spice though. Let's go to Carthag then, and we'll play with the signet ring to do that. So we should get 1 cube, which I'm going to put into the fight. 1 intrigue card. Urgent mission, recall 1 of your agents. That's good, that's practically a free turn. So maybe we could have got the spice. And we shall also get 1 Solari, which we will pay immediately to draw another intrigue card, and this is a poison snooper. Look at the top card of your deck, draw it or trash it. That's quite interesting. So that goes, signet ring goes into the used cards pile. Still in play, just not in the discard pile. We might as well use the poison snooper right now so we know what we're looking at next turn. We don't need to recall the agent yet, so let's use the poison snooper straight away. It's not terribly exciting. Dune, the desert planet. Let's go back to Countess. She is also going to harvest spice. So she will take there and take 3. Meaning she's on 5 in total. Now we have no faction icons here, so we can't use any faction abilities. She would put cubes into the fight if she had any in reserve, but she doesn't. So we could grab Mentat, draw another card. That'll cost us 2 Solari. Don't have enough water to go to the research station. I think I'm going to do this using the dagger. So we'll pay 2 Solari. We'll grab the Mentat and draw a card. Last card in our deck. It is the rather useless at this point convincing argument, although that would give us 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Persuasion, if we wanted to buy the Spice Must Flow, which would be worth a victory point straight away. So we could get a victory point for that. We can get a victory point. We can't get a victory point for that because we haven't got 7 credits. 7 Solari. Yeah, let's see what the Countess and the Beast do for their last turns. The Countess is harvesting spice, which is interesting because it will get her 2, which is enough for a victory point. But it also earns us 1, which we could now sell for enough money to cash to get Chome shares, which would be worth a victory point. The Beast, he would like to harvest spice, but he can't. Carthag, he can't because we're there. Harvest spice again. Rally troops, he can and will rally troops. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 9 persuasion right now that we could use to buy Spice Must Flow, which would give us a victory point. Or we can use the Mentat that we've already paid for to sell some spice, the melange, and that will give us enough to get Chome shares. But it wouldn't leave us enough for private army. Now I don't really want to use this private army card until we're fighting for victory points, so that's not really an issue. Okay, we're going to do that. That's going to leave us with 8 persuasion. What would we do with 8 persuasion? Not much. Is it better to waste the Mentat and buy the Spice Must Flow card? Essentially then we've paid 2 Solari for a draw a card. Yeah, you know what, I think I'm going to reveal now. So that will be, let's double check this, 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to reveal now without spending our Mentat. And we're going to buy the Spice Must Flow, which gives us a victory point. Okay, clean up. There is no spice to put out because all the deserts were visited. Onto this battle then. The Mentat goes back to his space. Onto this battle. We have a strength of 2. The Baron has a strength of 4 and further bolsters that with 1 sword. So he wins that. So he goes up 2 spaces and he gets an intrigue card. So he goes up 2 influence. Now he will choose his lowest, which is the Spacing Guild. So he goes up to there and gets 3 Solari. Oh, he's got 7 already. So he should have cashed those in for a victory point. And then he gets 3 more. And we get another intrigue card. Combat. When you win a conflict, gain 3 spice. And we get 3 spice. 1, 2, 3. We have 6 now. Okay, so all these troops are removed. And the next conflict card is the Battle for the Imperial Basin, which is worth 2 victory points and a banner. We already have a banner in there, but no matter, if we lose this battle, we have lost the game anyway. So we need to win this to get us above 10 victory points, and we need to make sure we stay ahead of the others as well. Now there are some tiebreaker cards in the intrigues, things that give you huge amounts of spice at the end, which would be quite useful. Okay, so let's see how our 5 cards are. 3, 4, 5. Not a single faction icon. Now we do get to draw there, and we can draw if we use the Smuggler's Thopter. We are first player this turn. Okay, so we need a bit of a grand plan. Also, if the beast goes up one more on the Spacing Guild, we are going to lose this and the victory point. So we need a bit of a grand plan for our 3 turns here. We can sell a bunch of spice. 3 would be enough to get Chome shares. That would be 1 victory point. We need to make sure we win this battle. That would be 2 more, putting us on to 11. We need to be prepared for the fact that we might lose the Spacing Guild alliance, which would cost us 1, putting us back onto 10. This is tricky now. What we're not concerned with particularly is the persuasion points for reveal phase, because it's unlikely that will be a very interesting purchase. I don't think we're going to be picking up any more cards. So we've also got the urgent mission, so we can recall 1 agent, so we can have a 4th turn. And of course, we don't have enough money yet. We could have enough money to use the Mentat. So immediately, if we use the Missionaria Protectiva, because we have a Bene Gesserit card in play, or if we do have the Bene Gesserit card in play, if we play Other Memory first and then Missionaria Protectiva, we can go up 1 space on any of these. So we could go up 1 there, we can go up 1 there, or indeed on the Emperor for victory points and 2 cubes. So we also need to remember we need to win this battle as well. So let's get this Bene Gesserit card into play, and let's use that to send an agent to Carthage. Now, immediately we can draw a card. Now look, I'm looking at this. This one allows us to draw a Bene Gesserit card from our discard pile. So we could draw that one back again if that was there already. No, let's do it this way. So that allows us to draw a card. So let's draw a card first. Diplomacy, that is good because that's a faction icon card. That card will give us influence with a faction. Right. We get 1 Solari because of our banner. We get 1 cube, which we can put into the fight, and we will put 2 more from our reserve in, and we get an intrigue. Bindu suspension at the start of your turn. Draw a card. You may pass your turn instead of taking an agent or a reveal turn. That might not be bad to see what happens with regards to this battle. Sometimes it's useful just to... I've used the Mentat for this. To just delay a turn to see what these 2 get into the battle. So we've got our Solari, we've got our cube, put 2 more in, we've got our influence, and we've had our draw card. So let's see what the Countess is going to do. She's going to Arakeen, which gets her a Solari for her banner, and it gets her a water for her signet, and it gets her 1 cube, which goes straight into the battle. So she's in this fight. The beast would go to Carthag, but we're there. So he's going to secrets, Bene Gesserit's secrets. So he just goes up there on there, so that's pretty much pointless. Back to us. Okay, we need to sell spice so that we can get Chome shares to get this victory point. So that's one turn. We want to use the diplomacy card to go up on the Emperor track, I think. And we've got enough spice to conspire and sell melange to give us enough cash. Conspire will give us a ton of cash to do the Chome share, so we can forget selling melange now. Let's just go straight for, here's our go. Yep. We're going to go there and we're going to spend the diplomacy card to do so. So that puts us up there. We get that, which gives us 1 victory point. And we get 2 cubes into our reserve. Because of that. We then get 2 more cubes into our reserve. Because of bonus, we get 5 Solari and we get another intrigue card. Now this is an end game. If we have 3 influence or more on 3 faction tracks, which we do, we get 1 victory point in the end game. If we have 3 influence or more on 4 faction tracks, which I don't think we're going to do, we can get 2 victory points at the end of the game. So is that 8 for that turn? I think so. Not bad. Brings us back to equal. Gets us some more troops in reserve, although I'd like to get these into the fight. Let's do our Chome shares right now. Before I forget. Actually, let's just hold on until we really need to do that. Just in case there's a better option for spending our money. I don't think there is, but let's just wait and see. Right, Countess. All of Oratory. She gets a cube, which she doesn't put into the fight, so that suits us. The Beast, though, is going to see the Fremen. So he goes up on there, which earns him 1 water. And that for 1 victory point. So he is ending the game. And he also puts 2 cubes into the fight because it's a combat space. Back to us then. We need to be careful. They're both near to extra victory points through intrigue, cards and water. So we need to be aware of that. Didn't spend that 4 spice. Well, I knew there was something else to do on that space. There we go. Keeps us fair. And still gives us enough for this private army in this fight. Private army worth 5 swords. So, options. We play the Missionaria Protectiva to go to one of the 2 remaining, well, to go to Siege Tabber, which will get us 1 cube out of there, 2 more out of our reserve, so we'll then have 6 cubes in the fight. And we have another Bene Gesserit card in play because we've played Other Memory this turn, so we can go up 1 more on here and get another victory point. So that looks good. Let's try that then. Okay, so we're playing Missionaria Protectiva and we're sending an agent to Siege Tabber. So we get 1 cube into the fight, we put 2 from our reserve and we'll take 1 water. And then this triggers, we can go up here, which gets us a victory point. Back up to the Countess. She wants hardy warriors. So she goes up there and she gets 2 cubes into the fight and commits her other cube from her reserve. Suitably big battle for the end of game, isn't it? Baron, no, the Beast. He can't take still suits, he's already been there. Rally troops, I think that's not bad because that's fairly useless for him. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will take that. So now recall one of our agents. It's also important at this point, which one do we recall? If we recall the one in Carthag, we can play to Carthag again using the reconnaissance card. Which will give us another cube, 2 more out of our reserve, and another intrigue card, which would be great. And another Solari. Other options don't really appeal. Picking up spice will allow us to commit more cubes, and we don't have any faction icons. So I'm going to do that. We're going to play reconnaissance. No, first of all, we're recalling an agent. Recall this agent that is in Carthag. Then we're going to play reconnaissance to send him back to Carthag, which gets us this last cube, 2 more out of our reserve, and 1 more intrigue card, which is another combat card, and 1 Solari. I'm going to spend these 7 Solari now for this. I really hope there's not a rule that says you can only play 1 plot card per turn. So that gets us the victory point. I did that. Okay. So now we're surely into the reveal phase. Everyone has used all their agents. I'm not going to be able to use that. That I will use in a minute. So I have 2 influence, which I'm not interested in spending, but I do get spice, which I am interested in collecting. I actually have 4, but there's nothing here that's going to help us. If it added up to 9, it would be nice, but it doesn't. So our strength is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. And the Baron has 4, and Countess has 8. So hopefully we're not even going to need to reveal any of these cards. Or not reveal them, but use them. So the Countess is next, so she adds 2, and the Baron adds none. We don't need any of these. We don't need the private army anyway. So we have won this battle, which gives us 2 victory points and a flag in the Imperial Basin, which we already had. The Countess gets 5 spice as her 2nd place reward. These are all removed from the game. Now, when I win a conflict, I get 3 spice for that card, which I'm going to use to the victor. Demand respect. When I win a conflict, I can either go up on 1 influence track, or I can spend 2 spice to go up 2. Now if I go up 2, I don't think it really helps. I could go above the Baron here actually, which means he would go down a victory point, I would go up 1. But if I just go up, if I go up 2 on the Bene Gesserit, then I can get 2 victory points from that. It doesn't make any difference, but it's actually more humiliating for the beast if I go up 2 here. So I'm going to spend 2 spice to go up 2 on the Fremen track and take his Fremen alliance. So he goes down 1, I go up 1 more, so I'm on 14 now. Okay, so that's the last round of the game because I have more than 10 victory points. In the end game, I have 3 influence or more on 3 faction tracks, 1, 2, 3, so I get another victory point for that. Just check they're not owed any more victory points at Intrigue, Solari, Spice or Water, but I think that's good. So that looks... turned it round at the end there. I didn't think that I was going to win that at one point. It was looking pretty desperate about halfway through, but we came good in that last round, big battle, and we managed to stay ahead and embarrass the beast as well in that last round, pushing him out of favour with the Fremen. So I know that was only the novice setup, but I wanted to show a good run for the video, and I'm quite pleased with that result. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. If you have any comments on the play style or tactics, strategy, if you spotted any mistakes especially, please comment below. That would be great. If you have any comments overall on the style of videos, anything you'd like to see or stuff you don't like me doing, please let me know and then I can change it. I'd like to thank my patrons, and if you would like to contribute to the future of One Man and His Meeple and have a degree of say in what we play and have your name on the videos, then you too could become a Patreon. The link is down in the down in the description. Please remember, as usual, like and subscribe and click the Board Game Geek link that I will add later and give that a thumbs up too, because that gets me seen on Board Game Geek, which helps drive more viewers, which is great. Again, thanks for watching. This has been Dune Imperium. Goodbye.